18 trends for the year 2018 in technology, and how we're going to think about how we can use these trending topics, these trending things that we're going to talk about today in education. So it's kind of a brainstorming session too, to just give you ideas. I think you'll be excited and inspired by some of these. Hopefully at least one of these will be inspirational for how you can use it in your classroom. So number one that was on everybody's mind, virtual reality, right? For a long time, I don't know if you guys are old like me, but virtual reality was like putting on the 3D glasses with the red and blue lens, and they're like, oh yeah, that's really cool. But now it's expanded so much that it puts the user in a fully immersed, realistic or imaginary environment. So you can actually go to the museum that you're talking about in class, or you can see the pyramids and look all around, and you can look up, down, every which way through this virtual reality technology. So these VR goggles, they fully block your view of the real world. So while you're doing it, of course, you want to be sitting down. You don't want to be off balance or anything like that, because it can throw you for a little bit. And this is the Oculus Rift that we got to take a look at as well. And these are different people using you can see there's all different kinds of devices. So that's going to be another thing that we're going to want to think about, is purchasing these things.
I've got one at home.
What size? You have one at home, so see, you're using it at home. Do you use it?
No. It was a present to my son. Does he use it? No.
So the person I stole this presentation from, or borrowed her with permission, Maureen Yoder, says that we should get the plastic ones because the cardboard ones, they wear out really quick. And nowadays, even these plastic ones are only like $23 or $15. So make sure you're aware of the quality of the lenses, the different, what do you call those? I'm blanking, but that's okay. All right, so how is it used, virtual reality? You could do a virtual tour, a campus visit. Real estate has been using these, so if you want to buy a house, you can see everything virtually without having to get in your car and drive to 12 different places, which is nice. And some of you have kids in college, right? This would be a good way to kind of get a preview and just see what the dorm is like. There's the UConn dorm. Travel. If you're talking about something in history class, I think this would make a great virtual field trip. That would be so cool to have Ms. Gonzalez, when you're talking about all those different social skills or social studies topics, actually going to get to see these sites in your class. And then the Macy's Parade did a whole 360 live stream that you could control, so you could see all the floats, you could see everybody marching by, you could hear the band in your ears. It's very cool. And then, of course, with medicine, now my dad's in the hospital with, what was it?
Congestive heart.
Congestive heart failure. It's so cool to think that you could actually see what that means. You know, you could explain to a patient without having to just use these big medical terms, that you could see, oh yeah, this is blocked here, this is blocked here. So you could actually see inside all of these things. And while I was at the TCEA, I got to see inside lungs, and they had it set up where like the teacher can add little notes, like this is the aortic valve, or this is such and such. And then of course, classrooms, you could do a trip to the moon if you wanted. You could go into the ocean. You could go to all these remote and dangerous locations that would never be possible before. And they even talked about using it as therapy. A lot of our students, they're nervous or anxious about certain experiences. So if you have a fear of flying, maybe having virtual reality would kind of get you more accustomed to it. It kind of previews what's coming up, so it's not as scary. Even just going to like a birthday party for some of our students could be terrifying. So if they have the experience, okay, there's going to be sounds here and there, and they could do it in this safe virtual reality environment without fearing anything. So there's an article there. I'm going to give you all these slides and the links to all these things, so you can check out what it's doing for children with autism already. I'm not going to go through that. There's easy apps there. You can bring your lessons to life. There's a link to the Google Expeditions app. And even on YouTube, if you just type in 360 educational videos, you already have a whole library of virtual reality experiences. They said make sure you preview these first, because sometimes when you're doing a 360 picture, there might be some, I think one person mentioned they saw some kissing going on behind the pyramids there that the kids really wanted to check out. So you want to make sure you preview the videos
goggles
first.
on, and then you go to this video. Is that correct?
Right, you have it on your phone, slides into the goggles, and you go to the video that you want to do, and then you put the goggles on and you're seeing it. And then the New York Times have done a lot of stuff, and they have a free app as well with all these different 360 experiences. They've got journalists around the world that go to different places, and you might not want to go to that one, but they show you different experiences in 360 degrees. And National Geographic has been excellent as well. And then there's augmented reality, which is where the digital artifacts are superimposed on real physical objects in your vision. So, of course, everybody talks about Pokemon Go, right? You hold your phone up, and there's the Pokemon appear as if they're in real life, but they're really just an image projected on your phone. So it's the blending of virtual reality and real life. You point your device at a trigger image. In this case, they've made this picture the trigger image. So when they point their device at the image, something pops up on their iPad or their device. So it's a cool way. You could even make like a gallery. I know Miss Kelly Kyle had all her Balto pictures. It would have been cool if we had made those triggers, and then you pop and something pops up about the book, or it could just be a dog popping up out at you.
There was that really cool app that I did the Tech Fight last year. I don't know if you remember, and it was an augmented reality, and so like you could do like a job skill, and so I took a picture of the Trader Joe's like cereal box, and then I showed a kid stocking it, and then like we did Miss Donna's dishwasher, took a picture of it, and then when you like went over it with your iPad, then it showed a video of someone loading it. It was really cool.
That would be awesome. Yeah, for sure.
I can look. It's on my phone.
Yeah, give us that link too. We'll put it in. And this is becoming a big trend, as Ms. Meredith is saying. Apple's Tim Cook, they've put a lot of money into this augmented reality. He believes that it's going to change the way we use technology forever. It's going to transform the way you work, play, connect, and learn. So where's the educational value? Well, they said students have an aha moment when they understand it and when it made them want to look at it more. So when something pops out at them, it's kind of, whoa, this is bringing it to life. I'm connecting with this instead of just seeing it on a worksheet or seeing it on a video. It's really coming forward to them. So there's also books that you can use with this, even the Very Hungry Caterpillar, very old book, but people have added all these triggers to it to make it come to life. There's books like the Solar System and all these, again, history and science ones that just pop out the different, so when you point your iPad at it, you're going to see these different images just pop out at you. It's very cool. And you could even have coloring pages that they color in, and then they can interact with the coloring pages. Those are pretty cheap to buy too. I mean, you could get these coloring books just a couple $. They'll color these in, and you use the app, and it becomes augmented reality. They have flashcards if you're learning your letters. It'll pop up, oh, K for kangaroo, and the kangaroo will pop up at you. So then there's three-dimensional triggers. There's a Star Walk app where it'll show you all the stars all around in the hemisphere, wherever you point it at. There's even measurement. I saw some people measuring a thing at a thrift store I went to, and I was like, oh, if we only had that app, you wouldn't have to use it anymore, because you can use the app as like a virtual measuring stick now, which is very cool. I think they're even becoming to the point where you can just point your app at a wall or something, and it'll tell you the dimensions, which is what saved me a lot of time. If you're looking for like a new refrigerator there, oh yeah, that's 50 by 60. And the Google Translate is definitely getting cool. I recommend you get that app on your iPad or phone, because when you point it, use the camera to point it to something in another language, it can translate it instantly to English. And as you see, it even keeps that same font size and that same type. So that's very awesome. That'd be great if you're traveling. You travel around a lot. Yeah, if you're going to different
menus.
Did you use it? Yeah, yeah. Isn't that awesome? That's amazing. Yeah, you don't feel as out of place when you understand everything.
Yeah.
So it's bringing the world into the classroom. There's some videos there. Again, that's going to be in the link. Number 6, collection of images, videos, and artifacts. So there's all these TED Talks there. You've heard about TED. Ed also has a lot of lessons. So you don't just have the talks, but these are also like full, complete lessons. If you go to this ed.ted.com, you can find all different lessons. And there's more clips that you can find. I'm just going to give you all these links here because there's a lot of good links. So you only have to know one thing, that you can learn anything for free, forever, for anyone. And to do. Okay, skip over some of this. We don't have a lot of time. But the Library of Congress also has a lot of things that are free to look at. The Smithsonian, again, more free stuff. Skip over that. You can even find a lot of 3D images by going to this poly.google.com. So since everything's becoming kind of 3D, you could search out 3D in particular. And that's, she searched for dog, 192 3D dogs already on there. So you get all these different 3D images that you can use in your new creations. Number 7 was drones. Drones are going to be a big thing. I mean, they already are a big thing, but they're projecting this to be like the #1 career 20 years down the line. So I was, whoa, this is, it's just a drone operator. So there are educational benefits. Of course, science, there's higher math to it, there's electronics, there's hand-eye coordination, there's the debate about whether they're legal or not in certain uses. So drones in the classroom can be used as a tool for enriching students' imagination and awakening their natural curiosity. You can use drones for speaking and writing exercises, use drones to teach math. There's all different suggestions there. So future employment possibilities. The next 10 years, the drone industry will be a multi-billion-dollar industry. So we want to go ahead and start working to prepare a workforce that will have the necessary skills. I know some of our students, they have some of those niche skills. So if we could find some that they really love doing the video, they're great at the video games, why not use those skills to learn how to pilot a drone? That would be a great future opportunity for them. And she said to start small. So when you're looking for, we'll look at that later. But look at that, oh, that would have been so great for Valentine's Day. If I had known how to fly in a drone, I would have been definitely scored some points. And one use that is not usually listed, this classroom uses a classroom drone for surveillance during exams, so they can check and see if anybody's cheating there. Look at this class in China. They showed how serious they are about preventing cheating during their all-important college entrance exams. They used a drone to detect signals from any electronic devices that could be used to share answers. So their class is so massive that they kind of have to patrol it. Number 8 and 9 are wearables. So there's all these different wearables now, electronic devices that you can just wear as a thing. You've got a pocket finder, you got GPS. I think we had a student that had to have a GPS wearable as well. So this is definitely coming up down the line. There's all these smart watches that they could use to connect to the internet. GPS trackers, right there, those are the best GPS trackers for kids in 2018. And they're relatively inexpensive, $99, $135. Fitness trackers. How many of you guys have a fitness tracker? You have a Fitbit, things like that? Yeah, but these can be used even more with kids. It could incentivize drinking water, brushing teeth, sleeping well, and healthy eating. How would that be for social skills if they're getting incentives for doing those things that we're trying to teach them in the classroom? It'd be great. So there's more top fitness trackers, all different kinds, every kind of interest you could want is now on those. Robots were huge. If you watch my videos, there were a lot of different robots. I know we have a couple robots here that we have as well. There's just every different kind there. So using them, this was a great story. I recommend you go check out this story if you get time, about a remote student. They had a student that had leukemia for the second time, and he wasn't able to be at school for the entire year. So you might have seen this story where they kind of made his own robot, and he's got a monitor there that he can see at home, and then the students can see him as well, and they can interact with him, and they would say, "Hi, Philip, how are you doing today?" And he'd be able to answer from at home on his bed. So yeah, check out Philip's story there. It's pretty good. Robots, programming them. We have a couple of these robots already here. Let's see. We have this one, Dash, and we have Dot that we've used. The kids just love these. You program them through your iPad, and then you can make them go different directions and say different things and make different noises.
Mrs. Barber used those a lot.
Yeah, Miss Barber used them. Yeah, they're very cool. They have all different ones. And then they've even come up with a lot of different challenges that you can do to kind of get your students thinking. So if you go on Pinterest or all these different websites, you'll find some ideas that you can use for those robots. Then even building robots has become simpler and cheaper. This one's only $10, so I mean for a robot kit that's relatively inexpensive. That could be something that could be down the line. Social robots. So these are robots that interact with you. Some of these robots will even tell you like what medicines you're going to take, and they'll dispense them and everything. I think this is going to be the next step for helping our students become more independent. Is using this technology and in the house as well. So I recommend you check out this video as well. We don't have time to check it right now. Oh, and that was such a sweet story. Aflac made these ducks that are even socially responsive, so the kids can express to the duck how they're feeling about going through their cancer treatments. They could say, "I'm scared right now," and the duck would reassure them, or they'd say they're happy right now, and the duck would make a happy noise. And it was just a cool way for them to interact with technology there. Then how many of you guys have one of these, the Echo or the Dot or any of the Google Home? You have that? Do you use it?
No. Because my husband doesn't want people spying on us. But we have it.
That's definitely one of the issues is, whether your information is out there and how much
so
you
much
want
about
it
us
to be
anyway. I think it's
I think it's all right.
right.
So there's Alexa and there's Google. There's the Amazon Echo Dot, $50. But I do think this is going to have some uses, like making our students more independent. And I think it's going to be kind of our job to kind of think how we can really use this technology, because you could just tell it something and it's going to, respond. Whereas there's not a lot of writing, there's not a lot of reading involved. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be the verbal communication skills, and if they adapt these to where they'll understand your particular intonation or speaking patterns. So it's definitely interesting. And this has 15,000 different skills or apps or programs or whatever you want to call them that are incorporated in it already. So it'll do all different little programs. There's even a video there on how to use it in the classroom. I'm going to go through this quick. We're almost there. They're even having them in the student dorm rooms. They're putting 1,600 of these Echo Dots in Arizona State's dorm rooms. So the kids coming to college, they've got this to kind of rely on, or they're already relying on it. And there's Google Home, $49. It does all these different things. It could talk about everyday heroes. I could see this working in the classroom, kind of. These different programs that you could use, almost replacing, like, cheaper than an iPad, right? $49. And then it's finally sort of legal for kids to use an Amazon Echo at school here. Again, we talked about some issues with the privacy protection and all that. That's going to be something that we'll definitely see more of down the line. And then, of course, this last month, Apple released the HomePod here. And that's the HomePod available just 2 weeks ago, right? 2.9. They said the sound on this is better, but the Siri, if you've ever used an Apple, the Siri on the Apples, it's never as responsive as like Google. I've never had the same success with the accuracy of it. So number 16, visual enhancements in storytelling. People are using Snapchat. We can't use that with the dice. He said, don't. So I'll skip that part. But there are interesting. Google Arts and Culture app has really picked up for getting you into like the museum and seeing all these different, interacting with the exhibits without having to go anywhere or spend anything. So it can enrich your lessons. There's lots of ways to do that. But the app the charts for all the wrong reasons. People are using it just to find out which picture they look like. Now this was somehow, see, this is again the privacy thing. This app was, or this part of the app was illegal in Texas because of the privacy thing. Yeah, it's still illegal in Texas. You can't do it. So it'll be interesting to see how different states deal with all this stuff. So 30 million people did do it just to see which picture they look like. We love that. So number 17, something that I love, 3D printing. We've got our 3D printer. I'm excited about it. But she didn't like doing it. She said, don't do the bracelet. It broke like right away. But there are lots of cool projects that you could do and lots of real life things that you could do. And I brought in one that I like that they did. It's cheesy, but a 3D printed Pikachu there. Hand that around. That's so cute, Pikachu. But I could see
like 3 hours to make it.
Actually, I think they had a really good printer, so she had like hundreds of these things printed out. Yeah, so it's. I think as time goes on too, the printing will get faster. Yeah. The one I saw at TCEA, that thing was like, it was like a laser print.
Is it expensive, the like material itself?
Actually, it's not too bad, yeah. And she said she printed out one that was like a dental implant. And those implants were costing like $400 or $500, but to print it on their 3D printer was like $3.
And you could actually use it?
And then you could use it. It's pretty cool.
Save me some money.
Yeah, so there's a lot of projects, like he's had a 3D printed hand there that they created. And these girls were very neat. They went into the nursing home and they found a couple devices. She wanted an iPad stand, and one person wanted something to help with their key ring, like a special key ring. And so they went and they designed it and they printed it out on that 3D printer. You gotta check out that story too. You'll get that link. So it's a very neat story. And then, of course, just one last thought, nothing replaces good teaching. So y'all are awesome teachers. Y'all, that's why you're here. You're here to learn and implement these things. But nothing replaces being there and talking to your students and getting to know them and making not the lesson fit the technology, but the technology fit the lesson. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you.